I don't know if you've been following the prices of lumber these days, but it's pretty wild. So when we were gifted these sheds about 6 months ago, I was really excited. I didn't know at first. We went back and forth if we were going to use them as is and just try and haul them up the hill to the house. But we decided not to do that for a couple different reasons. Number one, it's really difficult to haul fully constructed buildings up to our house because our driveway just isn't friendly for stuff like that. And then secondly, they weren't really the dimensions that we wanted for our woodshed. So I decided to scavenge the materials, and I'm pretty happy with that choice. There are 2 of them, and I don't have a tape measure on me, but I believe they're about 10 by 10. Now a cord of firewood is 4 foot by 4 foot by 8 foot. So I think if I combine these 2 sheds into 1.5 sheds, I'll be able to fit about 3 cords of wood in there. So William has just moved this trailer over here so that as I dismantle these, I can just put the materials directly on the trailer and not have to move it twice. Thank you, William, I appreciate it. And then we will haul the disassembled sheds up to the house, and I will reassemble them as our new woodshed. The first thing that has to come off is the last thing that went on, which in this case is the roofing, predictably. And the roofing is put on with kind of a hodgepodge of these bolts. So I may have to go up to the house and get a right-sized socket for those, but we'll see what I can do. Success! I am so happy, I know I'm holding this wrong, that I have the right size socket for the job. Yay! All right, the roof is gone, and now I'm gonna take off this gutter. Now, unfortunately, this gutter is actually nailed to the structure instead of screwed in some places. And so what that means is that I have to take the nails out, which is a little more time consuming than taking screws out. So I have my little helper, Clara, on her way down here with tools so that I can do that. So in a case like this, I'm gonna take the pry bar and actually come up underneath the gutter to pry it away, and then come back in from the top once I get a little more meat around that nail head. And then it's really easy to take out with either the pry bar or the back of the hammer. Very nice. The siding was put on with these screws, which I like, as you might remember from our last video. And because it's me, I am reusing them. So I'm going to put these screws in this bucket, and I might be able to even reassemble this whole situation with the screws that are currently in it. The siding is off. This is a big deal because those were the hardest thing to move, I think. My next step, I'm going to start at the top and dismantle each of these. And I'm actually taking both of these apart at the same time. All right, all the 2x6s are out of that shed and in one spot on the trailer. Now I'm going to attack this one and do the same thing, and then move on to the next dimension of wood. As I took off the 2x6s, I also dismantled the rafters in this one, so that's several 2x4s that are already dealt with, which is nice. And then of course these absolutely awesome 2x12s, my gosh, those are not cheap. I probably won't use those, or at least many of them, for the woodshed itself, because it's a woodshed. I'm not housing horses, which is what this used to do. And I actually have an upcoming project that I'm going to need these boards for as form boards for concrete. So really what I'm doing when deciding what to load onto the trailer is prioritizing the pieces I know I'm going to need. So 4x4s, definitely. 2x6s, yes, I've got lots of those to use. And 2x4s, yes. I am actually not loading the shorter pieces onto the trailer because they can go in the back of the pickup. And what we've learned in the past is that we don't want to put too much weight on the trailer going up the hill at a time, because it becomes problematic. We're cooking with gas now. On this one, I was able to remove that high point but the other one is facing the wrong way. I attempted to take this down piece by piece yesterday and hurt myself in the process. Luckily not that bad, and luckily my tetanus is up to date. I think probably what's going to happen is that we'll take the bracing off and do a controlled descent for that piece so we can take the 2x6s and 2x4s off on the ground. Well, it was a controlled descent. It wasn't when I had planned for it to happen, but it should be okay. And now I can reach those upper boards safely to take them off. All done. So everything's loaded on the trailer. And I did want to point out, I did not clean all these boards because it is hot down here in the blazing sun. And I can do that up in the shade when I build the woodshed. And also some of these were an absolute bugger, and the Sawzall might be the best tool for the job. I also got quite a haul of hardware out of this endeavor. There's probably about 10 pounds of screws of varying sizes and lengths and reusability. Some of them are bent and of course will not be reused, but this should really take me quite a ways in reconstructing the building that I want. These sheds have been an eyesore down here for 6 months or so because I just didn't get around to it. So I'm really excited to have that done. And I'm really excited to have our permanent woodshed up and running because I really like to be ahead of the game on firewood. And right now we are quite a bit behind because we don't have anywhere to put it. So very exciting stuff. Can't wait for the next installment, building the permanent woodshed.